Hi guys, welcome back. I just want to say thank you so much for how well the first part of this series has done. Hopefully it will continue to have that same energy, but I'm not 100%. I do have some fun ideas planned for it, and I was really excited writing all of this. It's a fun pace to go off and write for Naruto after writing so much for Dragon Ball, and it just means I have reignited some energy to write. This part is probably not going to cover an awful lot, but I do want to do it, so let's get going. 2 weeks have passed since the trio had left the village. Sasuke hasn't spoken a word since leaving, staying quiet as he joins in with training under Jiraiya. The sage can tell Sasuke has no desire to be here, or even work together with Naruto. However, any time the pair accidentally work together, they are incredibly strong. He just has to find a way to crack through Sasuke's wall, but he believes this job is best left for Naruto. He doesn't know how the Uzumaki is going to do it, but he puts all of his trust into him. As time passes, both kids grow leaps and bounds, but Sasuke can't help but feel annoyed. He believes he could grow much stronger if he was training under Orochimaru, and this leads to him making a few escape attempts at night, and they are easily stopped by Jiraiya, who can catch up to him and easily take him down each time he tries to make an escape attempt. The first time he tried, Jiraiya spoke to Sasuke, tried to talk some sense into him, explaining how doing things alone will never help, and true strength comes from letting people in and accepting help. However, Sasuke has no interest in listening to this. He is going to do it alone, and he doesn't need any help. Jiraiya just continues to stop him, and any time he does make an escape attempt, he's made to skip out on training for the day, and as time goes on, more and more escape attempts happen. Jiraiya is able to keep stopping him, however he's heavily considering sending Sasuke back to the village, but he's still going to trust Naruto. Naruto does start to figure out that Sasuke has been trying to leave, when Sasuke is forced to sit on the sides and watch him train. He tries to speak to Sasuke about it, but the Uchiha just won't let him in. So Naruto just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, hoping that eventually he'll crack this stupid armor of Sasuke's, while also growing in strength as much as he can with Jiraiya. One night, Sasuke gets up to start his normal escape attempt, but as he is just about to start running, he hears an explosion not too far away. As he turns to look around the campsite, he realizes Naruto is missing. Sasuke is confused, and believes this is his chance to escape. But another explosion sets off, this time with the sound of Naruto screaming being heard alongside it. Sasuke's interested now, wondering if there's a fight going on, and why Naruto's doing it alone. Jiraiya is very clearly sleeping on the floor. So, the Uchiha makes his way towards the explosions, and as he approaches, he finds an opening in the woods, where he sees Naruto, heavily bruised and exhausted. As he forms up a Rasengan with one clone at his side, he begins to form it as a screeching sound can be heard erupting from the orb. Small spikes begin to protrude out of it before it explodes in Naruto's hand, knocking him into the air and back down to the ground. He pulls himself up and repeats the process, as Sasuke watches on confused. Soon, he hears footsteps walking up behind him, as Jiraiya says, "You're confused on what he's doing, right?" Sasuke, not wasting a second, grabs a kunai and swings it back towards Jiraiya. He catches it and laughs, explaining, "He's been doing this every day since we left Konoha. I haven't told him that I know, as I think he believes he's being secretive, but I don't understand how he thinks that at all. He makes loads of screaming noises and causes massive craters wherever he's been training. All I can tell you is the reason he is doing it. He hopes that whatever this power will be enough to let him in, and that way he can help you." Sasuke looks back at Naruto confused, moving his kunai away from Jiraiya's face, getting a sigh of relief out of the Sannin. As Naruto starts to form a new Rasengan once again, he holds on to it for a few seconds longer before it disappears into thin air, causing Naruto to curse into the sky, but he catches his breath and gets back to working on the orb, this time using 2 clones instead of 1. Sasuke, spending a moment looking at the attack, recognizes it, It's the one that he used to defeat him at the Valley of the End, but he wonders why he can't use it like he did. Jiraiya looks at Sasuke, who's clearly deep in thought and seems to understand more about what's going on than he does. He goes to speak to the Uchiha once again, as Sasuke stops him. He asks why Naruto doesn't use the power he used to defeat him at the valley. Jiraiya looks confused, but having heard the story from Naruto, and assuming that Sasuke means the Nine Tails chakra, he has to come up with a somewhat elaborate lie quickly. He explains that the power isn't stable, and is the reason your brother and the rest of that group is hunting down Naruto. Sasuke looks shocked to hear Itachi is after Naruto, and to hear that Jiraiya had figured it out. Jiraiya tells his student, I had already told you, your two's goals were aligned more than ever. I guess you just didn't understand how much. Anyway, from what I've heard about your brother, he's an incredible ninja. Stronger than most. Stronger than your former sensei, Kakashi. From the small encounter I've had with him, I would have to agree. But I think I might have a way to defeat him if I was to fight him. If you want, I can teach it to you. As long as you agree to stick around and stop this running around game. Sasuke is interested. He had to learn a lot there. The idea that Jiraiya has something that might be enough to take down Itachi is so enticing. He has no idea what it could be, and he wonders on it so much, as he also realises how useful Naruto could be. Not in the sense that he's strong, but he's the perfect bait to draw in his brother. Maybe this could work. He just has to play ball with these two, and then he can use Naruto as livestock to draw in his brother or anyone else who works with him, and then use the power that the old man shows him to win. Sasuke, hearing this, agrees. Not speaking much, just giving a small head nod, as he heads towards Naruto, catching the Uzumaki off guard, as he asks Sasuke what he's doing up this late, but Sasuke ignores the question, telling Naruto the attack he is trying to use has Wind Nature Chakra infused into it, so if he wants to perfect the attack, he has to learn how to use his nature release better. Naruto looks confused, and this annoys the Uchiha, who understands that Naruto very clearly doesn't know what he's talking about. Sasuke very briefly explains to Naruto the idea behind the nature releases, and even shows off his fireball to give Naruto a better understanding, as Naruto gets it a lot more than he did a couple of seconds ago. He asks Sasuke to help him, but the Uchiha refuses him. He tells him the first step will be to learn more about his element, as Sasuke heads off back towards camp. Jiraiya in the forest smiles lightly, as Naruto sits down annoyed for a few moments, before he lets out a happy laugh. Sasuke had spoke to him for the first time in ages. He hopes this means that he might be able to rebuild this bridge, and things are on the right path. The next day their training starts off differently, as Naruto and Sasuke spend their early hours sparring against Jiraiya of the day, before spending the middle part travelling, never staying in one place for too long. It's a dangerous game to play with a Jinchuriki and one of the last Uchihas in your group. As the night begins to fall, Jiraiya then goes through some ideas that he has for them, ways they can improve, jutsus he believes would work well for them, and how they should proceed forward, even spending a brief amount of the afternoon teaching them some jutsus he believes would help them, stuff that he knows and also has a vague understanding of how it works. And this is how most days consist. However, at night, Naruto and Sasuke find themselves sneaking away from the campsite and training against one another. Naruto uses his time to reconnect with Sasuke, slightly, but the Uchiha is still silent. He doesn't speak very often, and when he does, it's only a few words, and him scolding Naruto for being sloppy in fighting. But over time, Sasuke can't help but feel something building, and eventually, after a few months of this training, Sasuke finally asks Naruto about that great power whenever he uses the red chakra, and why he doesn't use it more often, pointing out that it's foolish and would actually more than often lead to him winning much easier. Naruto is annoyed for being called a fool for something he doesn't actually have any control over, but he understands Sasuke doesn't understand what's going on, and after a moment of thinking, he shares his secret, telling Sasuke that he's a Jinchuriki, more specifically the Jinchuriki of the Nine-Tails Fox. Sasuke looks amazed, as he never knew Naruto had this sort of power within him. But it also makes so much sense. The red chakra, the amazing increases in power from time to time, and the fact everyone in the village looked down on him. People must have known, and he's surprised it took him this long to find out. He knew there was something special about Naruto, but couldn't quite figure it out. As he kind of is happy to learn this, he finds himself wondering what would happen if Naruto was able to shackle that power, that demon inside of him. If he could contain it or draw more energy from it willingly, he would be almost unstoppable. Even vocally sharing this with Naruto, the Uzumaki laughs awkwardly, believing that isn't possible at the time, but he hopes to one day be able to at least grow strong enough that he can take down the Nine-Tails if he gets too rowdy. Naruto laughs as they get back to training. The pair begin to rebuild their friendship slightly, and after a few months, the pair aren't quite friends in Sasuke's eyes, but Sasuke has begun to see Naruto as more of a positive than a negative. The benefits he brings to everything is much higher than the negatives. Keeping Naruto around to train against, to learn new jutsus from, and more importantly to use as bait whenever he needs it, has really helped Sasuke see Naruto as more of a benefit. Now, after training for a while, Jiraiya believes that they are ready for the next step, as he offers Sasuke to finally teach him the thing that would give him the edge over his brother. So, the trio disappear off the map, training somewhere, which gives each fighter some incredible benefits. But after a short while of training there, they eventually start travelling the world again, continuing their training. Just over 2 years have passed since the trio had left the Leaf, and in the village, nothing has changed from canon. On this day though, at the gates, 3 ninja walk through, as they head towards the inner part of Konoha. One of the ninjas speaks up, saying how happy he is to be back in Konoha, before turning to his black-haired friend, asking if he's happy to be back as well. The ninja doesn't respond, but feels weirdly nostalgic being here. After a walk, the trio arrive at the Hokage's office, walking in on Tsunade, Shizui, and Sakura in the middle of a meeting, going over some training, and just catching up. There is a moment of silence, as Naruto shouts out saying hi to Sakura. She is so happy to see Naruto again, before truly feeling excited seeing Sasuke once again. As she walks over hugging her teammates, Naruto happily accepts it, while Sasuke stands there not returning the hug. Sakura is a bit disheartened by this, however the joy of seeing her friend again takes all her concerns away. Tsunade welcomes the group back, asking how their training went. Naruto shouts out it was great, and even Sasuke speaks briefly, saying it was fruitful, putting a proud smile on Jiraiya's face. Tsunade is mildly impressed Sasuke is still there, having expected him to left the group a while ago, and that's why Jiraiya took so long to return. But the sage isn't that stupid. The group spend a moment catching up before the final member of Team 7 arrives in Kakashi, who had seen Naruto and Sasuke walking through the village and just trailed them for a little bit. He's happy to see all of his students again. As he looks towards Sasuke, he can tell that the kid has changed. He just doesn't know to what degree. He also then looks over to Naruto, who still wears a bright smile on his face. He can tell both of his students have grown dramatically in strength, and they seem to be different in other ways. But for now, he's just happy to see their return, having heard what they had to say about themselves. Jiraiya and Tsunade are interested in how much the group have grown, as is Kakashi. So, like normal, a battle of Team 7 up against Kakashi is arranged, going over the bell test once again. At first, Sasuke kind of sees this as pointless workout, but he then remembers that this will be amazing practice to fight someone who has the Sharingan, so agrees, meaning all of Team 7 is in for this. So, they decide to fight during the next morning, and tells the group to head off and catch up. As Naruto cheers out at the idea of getting to hang out with his friends again, he grabs Sakura and Sasuke by the arm, leading them out of the door. Both Sasuke and Sakura try to break free of his grasp, but only manage to do so once outside of the Hokage's office. Naruto decides that he wants to eat Ichiraku ramen again for the first time in years. However, once getting out of the building, Sasuke starts leaving, telling Naruto he will meet him at his place to do their normal training. Sakura pleads for Sasuke to stick around so they can catch up. However, the Uchiha heads off, and just as she's about to chase off after her crush, Naruto grabs her arm and shakes his head, saying it's best to give him space when he's like this. He's back in the village for the first time in a few years. It's probably a bit overwhelming. He then asks if Sakura would still want to get food when it's just him. Konoichi agrees to go with Naruto, as the ninja jokes that this is going to be a good date, getting him firmly hit on the head before the pair start sharing on their training. Naruto learns of Sakura's training under Tsunade and is happy to see that she's grown so much. On the roof of a nearby building, a small smile escapes from Sasuke's mouth before he shakes his head and goes back to his old place, where he starts to plan out on the future fight. Back in the Hokage's office, Tsunade is caught up on all the events and information she needs to hear about from the trip. However, even though Jiraiya praises Sasuke heavily, she is still holding her judgment until tomorrow. She doesn't know how much he's grown and if this trip was worthwhile. From what she can tell, he's still a very wild card, and she's not sure if she can trust him. The next day comes faster than everyone was ready for, as Sakura wakes up early to get towards the training ground just before everyone else is. She's expecting to be the first one there, knowing what Naruto and Kakashi are like, but she hopes that Sasuke is also going to be there, so they can catch up a little bit in private. But upon arriving at the training field, she finds both Naruto and Sasuke already practicing their taijutsu on the river. Seeing the pair are sweating quite a bit, she wonders how long they've been here. She watches from a distance for a few minutes, and she finds herself mostly staring at Sasuke, wondering what's going on in his head, and also quite caught off guard with how good looking he got as he grew. After the pair stop their round of sparring, she walks out revealing herself, getting an excited hello from Naruto and a small nod from Sasuke, who heard from Naruto that the Konoichi had trained under Tsunade, so is curious of her strength. As Naruto and Sasuke sit to rest up for the upcoming battle, Sakura asks how long they've been here. Naruto shrugs his shoulders, saying 2 hours-ish, and Sakura can't believe the pair woke up that early to train, before such an important fight. But she realises how much Naruto has changed because of this. He was willing to be up on time, much earlier than he normally would be, as Naruto explains that it's been routine for them to get up this early to do some extra training. It's how they were planning to beat Jiraiya, but their trip ended a bit sooner than they wanted. The group wait around for what feels like an hour, as they remember how late Kakashi can be. Slowly though, all of their teachers start to arrive, with Kakashi being the last one. He asks if all of them are ready to start. Naruto jumps up, nodding for his teammates. As the other ninjas pulled himself up, Kakashi begins to put away his copy of Make-Out magazines, knowing he isn't sure how strong these kids are, but has an idea that they're going to be super strong and going to have to fight much more serious from the start compared to last time. Sakura watches on, wondering what the plan Sasuke and Naruto have come up with is, since they didn't fill her in earlier, but the two share a small nod as both Naruto and Sasuke rush towards Kakashi. The speed is much faster than Kakashi was expecting, as Naruto arrives at the copy ninja first. He begins to engage in taijutsu against his former sensei, and Kakashi is taken aback. He wasn't expecting this sort of speed or power from Naruto of all people, as the ninja's technique is almost flawless as well. Clearly Sasuke has taught him a few moves, as you can see them showing throughout the fight. Alongside this, there is clearly some hints of what Jiraiya has taught him mixed into this, making a very deadly combination. Naruto is putting up a good fight, but Kakashi will still hold the edge in not only power but experience. But while caught up in this taijutsu brawl with Naruto, he hears the sound of lightning from behind as he looks back to see Sasuke, whose hand is encased with the lightning blade. As the attack is swung towards Kakashi's head, the ninja ducks underneath, avoiding it. However, once he is about to pull himself up, he is kicked in the face by Naruto, propelling him back towards the river. Kakashi barely blocked the attack, but he felt the power of Naruto's kick. The ninja is much stronger. Naruto and Sasuke share a nod once again, weave through a bunch of hand signs, before Naruto shouts out "Wind Bullet" and Sasuke fires off a fireball. The attacks shoot out towards Kakashi, soon combining into a massive burst of flame that erupts inches from Kakashi's face. The copy ninja quickly goes through his own hand signs and forms a giant mud wall in front of him. It starts to crumble away underneath the power and the heat behind the attack that's hit him, and after a few seconds, only a small bit of the wall is left. As Sasuke rushes round to go and attack Kakashi, he finds a hole in the ground, shouting this out vocally to Naruto, which also leads to Sakura hearing this. The Kunoichi doesn't want to be shown up, so hearing Kakashi is underground, she lets out a loud, powerful scream of "Cha" before punching the ground and smashing the nearby area, revealing Kakashi to all of her teammates, who are currently shocked at the power she holds. Naruto remembers getting hit in the head last night and wonders if his head was strong enough to take a hit like that. Kakashi, at the other hand, is stunned himself, but Sasuke doesn't waste the opportunity. Seeing an opening, he draws his Shikuto, swinging it towards the string holding the bells to Kakashi's waist. Kakashi luckily manages to push himself back a few inches, avoiding the blade. However, Sasuke enhances the blade's length with the Chidori, extending its reach. Kakashi is impressed that Sasuke came up with something like this, but quickly has to draw a kunai to counter the attack. He hardly does so, and it heavily damages the kunai he drew. Sasuke is annoyed as the two jump away from one another. Kakashi is impressed so far with how much all of them have grown. He's hardly keeping up, and if these were one-on-ones, he's not even sure he could win then, but he's going to have to try his best. Kakashi gets ready for the next onslaught of attacks as Naruto puts his fingers together, shouting Shadow Clone, with a large amount of clones appearing around Kakashi. He remembers just how much chakra this kid has, as suddenly the clones rush towards him, leading to him fighting off the large horde of Narutos. But something seems off as he looks to see Sasuke and Sakura watching from the sides. As he begins to punch through one clone, it erupts into lightning, causing Kakashi to flinch up. Naruto shouts out now as all the clones around disappear. One clone is revealed to be Sasuke, as the real Naruto is revealed. Kakashi manages to move his body just moments before Naruto or Sasuke manage to grab hold of the bells. As he jumps up through into the sky, he looks around to see Sakura is missing, which is when he hears a "Cha" scream once again. He looks up to see Sakura in the air, about to punch him straight down into the ground. Panicking, he quickly runs through some hand signs and fires off a fireball of his own, which hits Sakura head on, knocking the girl out of the air, sending her to the ground. He feels bad, but he turns down to see Sasuke throwing a barrage of kunai and shuriken towards him. Kakashi remembers this trick, but that's when he realises something. Kakashi realises he's been put in a genjutsu. Coming to the conclusion, he quickly breaks out of it. Not sure how much time has actually passed, he comes to, seeing Sasuke holding both bells in his hand. Kakashi can't believe he got trapped, as he can't really remember when he was put into it. He purposely avoided looking in Sasuke's eyes to make sure he wasn't put into a genjutsu, which is when a hearty laugh is let out of Sasuke's mouth, and an annoyed sigh comes out of Naruto's. Both become engulfed with smoke, revealing the pair had transformed into the other during the massive Shadow Clone attack. Knowing Sasuke would be the one that Kakashi is avoiding making eye contact with, thanks to his Sharingan, Naruto pitched the idea to swap into one another, so Sasuke could put Kakashi in a genjutsu, knowing he wouldn't expect it from Naruto. Everyone present is amazed, except for Jiraiya, who embarrassingly had fallen for this same trick, but also points out how Naruto and Sasuke can fight and adapt to one another almost instantly. They are like two people fighting together who share one mind. It's an impressive ability they have, and surprisingly Naruto is the main force of this, having been the one who actually came up with the play that they just did. Hearing this gets Naruto quite a bit of praise, as Kakashi praises all of his students. As Sasuke is annoyed he had to fall on a plan that Naruto had come up with, and also a little annoyed he had to use Naruto's power for help. But he feels like he could have taken Kakashi if it had come down to it, and he wonders if that power that he has within him, and the ability that Jiraiya helped him learn, would have definitely been enough to defeat his former sensei. Sakura feels a bit bummed out. She feels like she didn't add much to the fight and she's been left behind once again, now more than ever. But this just motivates her now. She wants to push herself forward and get rid of that power difference. Naruto, on the other hand, is just happy to have Team 7 back, and is happy to see how much stronger they've all grown, as he can't wait to go on their first mission together, which comes sooner than expected. But for now, Team 7 decides to celebrate. With everyone deciding where to eat, Naruto shouts out that he would like to have Ichiraku ramen again. Sakura goes to argue back, but Kakashi has already agreed, and Sasuke, not really wanting to join in, is about to walk off, causing Naruto to shout out telling him he needs to eat to keep his strength up. Plus, they need to celebrate. There's a moment where Sasuke is about to leave, but a small sigh can be heard before he turns around and walks with the group, annoyed that Naruto had already figured out that he hadn't eaten since coming back to the village. The group have a good time celebrating, as Sasuke stays silent throughout the entire meal. Sakura tries to talk to Uchiha, but has no luck, only getting a word or two out of him throughout the whole night. After celebrating, everyone decides to head home, as Naruto tells Sasuke he will see him in the morning and to get a good night rest. As Naruto is about to leave, Kakashi reminds everyone that they will be mission hunting again tomorrow, so be ready for that. As the team split off for the night, we see Sakura follow Sasuke home. The Uchiha is very much aware of her presence and grows more annoyed with her. As he makes it to his door, he turns around to face her, asking what she's exactly doing. Sakura grows flustered as she explains that she would like to catch up more with Sasuke. The Uchiha is annoyed and tells her she needs to get rest. If they are planning on heading off to a mission tomorrow, they need to be at full strength, especially since they could need to be at full power. Sakura goes to say something, but Sasuke already heads into his home, leading to Sakura getting pissed off with the boy. But Naruto told her during last night's meal that it will take some time for Sasuke to start speaking to her like he used to do. It took him nearly 2 years to get to the point where he is with Sasuke now, so just give the boy some time. So she decides she'll remain patient for her true love. On the other side of the door, Sasuke punches the wall. He refuses to care for these people. They will all just get in his way, but the ties, they bind him to them and he can't cut them. Right now, he also understands that Naruto is such an important tool that he can't afford to get rid of. The next day comes around as Naruto and Sasuke do their normal training routine, which is interrupted very fast by a serious Kakashi telling his students that Gaara of the Sand has been taken by the Akatsuki and Team 7 has been assigned to save him. Tells his students to head home and get ready, that he's only giving them 30 minutes and then they need to leave, as Naruto and Sasuke clench their fists, as they have both been waiting for a shot at the Akatsuki. Naruto hopes he'll be able to save Gaara, and Sasuke hopes he gets a chance to take down his brother. The pair rush off quickly, grabbing only what they need, while Kakashi gathers Sakura and Temamari. Once the team is ready, they rush off towards the sand, both Naruto and Sasuke pushing the group to move faster. Naruto wants to help his friend more than anything, and Sasuke doesn't want to miss this chance. Temamari also seconds the opinion of these two, meaning the group is picking up a bit more speed, and thanks to Naruto being faster, he's actually almost leading the charge. As the group make it in slightly better time, but nothing dramatic, they still have a confrontation with Grandma Chio, who gives Kakashi some shit before Naruto intercepts and puts her in her place, allowing them to continue. Sasuke doesn't like all the waiting around the group is going to have to do. However, Kakashi gives an order to the Uchiha to gather any intel they can, alongside Naruto. The Uzumaki tell Sasuke to start preparing for a possible fight as well, against his brother. Sasuke agrees, as they both summon out one clone and send them off together. Kakashi's confused at the sight, but the two ninjas do start gathering intel like he asked for, so he can't be too angry. During this time, they also get to watch Sakura save Konkoro, with both impressed at how much stronger she has gotten and how well she made it as a medical ninja. After receiving more intel from Konkoro, Naruto promises him he'll save Gaara. As Team 7, the group are about to leave, and like normal, Chio offers up her services. Knowing the land better than they will, they hope this will mean the mission is more of a success. As Team 7 makes haste towards the Akatsuki lair, Sasuke feels a chill down his spine at the sound of a familiar voice. "How are you doing, younger brother?" Sasuke looks up into the trees above him and sees Itachi. Like normal, Itachi and Hisame have sent off some fakes to deal with Team 7 and Team Guy, just to slow them down so the extraction process can go a bit faster. Sasuke looks into the trees and seeing his brother, he stands there straight away and activates his Sharingan, telling Naruto to get ready. The ninja immediately looks straight towards the ground, telling Sasuke he's ready to go if he is. Sasuke gives out a shout and tells Naruto to fight seriously as he begins to run through some hand signs before his hand is engulfed with the Chidori. As he rushes at his older brother, the rogue ninja easily dodges the attack, but he does point out how much faster and stronger his brother has gotten. Sasuke, in rage, draws his Shokoto blade before rushing towards his older brother, swinging with precision, knowing that he can't let his rage engulf him. His attacks aren't landing though. Itachi is easily able to block and dodge most things coming towards him. Sasuke is definitely faster than Itachi was thinking, and some attacks have almost landed. The sound of shadow clones appearing rings out as Sasuke looks behind to see 4 Naruto clones rushing towards Itachi. Sasuke, knowing what's best to do right now, jumps out of the way, while the 4 clones jump towards Itachi. All 4 try their best to land some solid blows, however, the rogue ninja is easily able to tear through these clones, and he's doing so pretty fast. Naruto asks how they're dealing with this. Sasuke says it will take him too long to use the jutsu that he wants to use, so Naruto should get ready to hit Itachi with everything he's got. Naruto nods and summons 2 clones, as he begins to form a Rasengan in his hand. Sasuke looks towards his older brother, who has defeated every clone that Naruto had sent at him. As the 2 lock eyes, the younger brother uses a genjutsu on the older. Itachi smiles as the pair are pulled into the remains of their own village. Itachi looks around, stating that Sasuke got the details pretty good, and if Sasuke had pulled off the genjutsu a bit more subtly, he might have been caught off guard here. Sasuke screams out, saying he's going to kill his brother for everything he did, and Itachi just laughs. He explains there is so much more going on in the world and in the leaf, like the enemy that hides in the shadows in the village. But at least he's made a friend in Naruto. Itachi is happy and was worried that Sasuke would never let anyone in, vocalizing this. Sasuke screams out that he and Naruto are not friends, and they never will be. Itachi laughs as he flips the genjutsu on Sasuke, where the Uchiha is made to watch over and over again, different methods every time. This shakes Sasuke to the core, something he wasn't ready for. He tries to let it not bother him, but slowly, over what feels like hours, it breaks him down. Sasuke, on the outside, falls to the floor. Kakashi, seeing this, is no longer sitting on the sidelines. He rushes in and goes toe to toe with Itachi for a couple of minutes, before a shout for Kakashi to move out of the way is heard. Kakashi looks around and then looks above to see Naruto wielding a weird looking Rasengan in the air, dropping towards them fast. As Kakashi quickly moves, the Itachi clone sits there for a second, but a second is too long. As Naruto rams the attack into the Itachi clone's face, he screams out wind style Rasen Shuriken. The attack collides and explodes with energy, completely destroying Itachi, revealing him to also be a fake. Naruto curses at the world, as the area that he stands in is completely destroyed. He grabs at his arm, feeling the effects of the attack coursing through it as the surge of pain reaches up to his shoulder. This attack manages to destroy the Itachi clone and also allows Sasuke to wake up from the genjutsu. Frantically, he looks around at his team before looking to where he last saw Itachi, and learning everything that he just went through was for nothing. The Itachi he just fought was a fake. He's annoyed, but also happy he didn't reveal his newest trick, to a clone at least, but he needs a moment to catch his breath. Everything he just went through really shaked him. Sakura runs over to Naruto, helping him heal his hand, as Kakashi spends a moment trying to catch his breath. Even though he went toe to toe with Itachi for only a couple of seconds, it was still a very intense bout. As they ask Naruto to explain that attack, Naruto explains about the attack, explaining how it's his Rasengan infused with wind nature, and it has quite a lot of backlash, saying how it can really only use it twice a day before he can't use his hand for almost a week afterwards. Sakura, seeing the damage dealt to Naruto, says that the jutsu is far too dangerous, as she turns towards Kakashi, telling the teacher to ban the jutsu now, as if Naruto was to use it again, it could very much severely damage his arm. Naruto explains that it's actually not that bad. He made a weaker variation of the jutsu, so he could use it more times, and he just didn't want to risk the weaker attack on Itachi. This is someone he's been training to defeat for years now, and he had the opening to get it off. But now he wonders how seriously that clone was fighting, and if that was even his full power, something which perks up Sasuke's ears and also disheartens him again. They were hardly keeping their own against a clone which wasn't full power possibly. This is annoying to him. However, that's not what he can think about now. After shaking that horrible feeling of dread of watching his team fall over and over again, he finds himself wondering what his brother meant about an enemy hidden in the leaf. But for now, he wants to continue on this mission in hopes to find the real Itachi and prove to him how strong he is. The group use their minute of breathing time and eventually get up to go find Gaara once again. As they are about to leave, Kakashi pulls Naruto to the side, explaining that Naruto can only use that jutsu if absolutely necessary. However, with some more training, he believes that Naruto could maybe find a way to master it and deal with the backlash. Naruto explains how he actually has already got an idea on that. He and Sasuke brainstormed it a while ago. He just hasn't fully got it down. Kakashi, hearing this, thanks the world, as it's a shame to see a jutsu that powerful go to waste. The group arrive at the entrance a little faster than they did in canon, thanks to having defeated Itachi a bit quicker, and they learn that they need to break the seals around the entrance to get into there. The team is actually a team down. Team Guy is still off fighting Kisame, and will still be a few minutes before they arrive, so Team 7 has to come up with a plan to get in. After a bit of brainstorming, they decide to send off 4 Naruto clones to go find to deal with the seals. The clones don't take too long to find them, pulling them off and releasing the shadows. However, the moment the opponents appear, Naruto's clones disperse, meaning that there is no opponent and no one for them to copy, so the clones also disappear. It's a confusing moment, but it works out pretty well. With the seal down, Sakura punches her way into the building, where, like normal, they see Sasori and Deidara, with the former being sat on the Kazekage's corpse. Immediately seeing this, the Uchiha looks towards Naruto, who's beginning to be cloaked in that red chakra he knows all too well. He looks towards his friend and tells him to control it and not let the anger overtake him. Naruto repeats to himself, "He knows," as the chakra begins to bubble and almost engulf him, but it then begins to bubble away. As Naruto takes deep breaths, calming himself. Sasuke then looks towards their opponents. He is immediately recognized by Deidara as an Uchiha, and possibly Itachi's younger brother. Happily wanting to kill this one, he calls out to Sasori that the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki and the Uchiha are his. He can deal with the copy ninja and the pink-haired girl. Sasori has no issues with this, as Deidara, grabbing the Kazekage's body, calls upon a clay bird and flies out with it. Naruto and Sasuke give chase. Kakashi shouts at them for being stupid, but they don't have time to concentrate as Sasori sends his first puppet towards them, leading to Kakashi and Sakura having to dodge. But that's where I'll be leaving this part for now. Sorry this was a bit of a shorter part and didn't really cover much, but it recovered the return, so you know, whatever. I do hope everyone enjoyed. I don't have a lot to say, but once again, thank you for how well the last part did. I hope you all have a good day or a great night, and I'll see you next time.